Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to start using the past perfect tense easily and quickly in English. Now, I hope you'll see after this lesson that the past perfect tense in particular is really quite easy to understand and not so difficult to start using, okay? The reason that people have difficulties with this tense is because probably in your language, you may not have all of these tenses as there are in English. And that's why it's difficult to even understand in terms of time, in terms of expressing specific periods of time, why we have all of these tenses. But let me try to simplify it for you, okay? We're going to start by talking about when we use the past perfect tense. Then I'll explain how you use it, and then we'll go over several examples so that you can start using it yourself. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the past perfect tense in English is sometimes called the past of the past. Why is that? Let me explain to you. We use the past perfect tense when we are talking about more than one thing that happened in the past, right? Now, for those of you who have been studying English for some time, you know the simple past tense. The simple past tense we use to talk about one thing that happened in the past and it's over, right? Or even a few things that happened at the same time, more or less. But the past perfect tense is used when we're talking about two or more things that happened in the past, and you want to indicate which of these two things, let's say, happened first in the past. Okay? What do I mean by that? Let's look at this timeline. Okay? On this timeline, this line says now. This is the period of time right now. This is the past, and that side is the future. Okay? So let's look at the example. These are two events that happened in the past. One happened closer to now, and one happened before that, right? So we have an example of two events that happened, both of them in the past, but one happened before the other. That one which happened before the other is the one where we are going to use the past perfect tense to describe, all right? Let me show you exactly what I mean. So this is first just past simple, all right? Just two simple past simple sentences. We arrived at 6 o'clock, all right? Let's say we arrived at the airport at 6 p.m. This is a past simple tense sentence. Another past tense sentence, the flight left at 5 o'clock, all right? That's another past simple sentence. All right? But these are two separate sentences, and therefore we just use the past simple. We didn't yet make any connection between these two events. If we want to connect these two events, then we could say something like this. When we arrived at the airport, the flight had left. All right? When we arrived at the airport at 6 p.m., we discovered that the flight had left at 5 p.m. So what happened first? The flight left at 5 p.m., right? So whatever happened first, that is the flight, we have to use the past perfect tense to describe. The flight had left at that time, okay? All right, now, let's look at this. This chart shows you how to use the past perfect tense, right? So here's the subject. It could be anything, any pronoun I, you, we, they, he, she, or it. Then we use the verb, the auxiliary verb or helping verb, had. And then we use the past participle of a regular verb or of an irregular verb. So for example, we could say, I had arrived. You had cooked dinner. When I arrived, you had already cooked dinner. Okay? Or they had left. They had gone. All right? That's how you would physically construct it. You can't just say I arrived, because if you say I arrived, or I cooked, or they left, or he left, right? That would be a problem because that would just be the past simple tense. If you want to start using past perfect, then you need to use this auxiliary verb had in the middle. All right? Next, I'm going to show you several examples which will help you to understand even more clearly exactly how to use the past perfect tense. Okay, so let's look at some examples now of how we can use the past perfect tense. All right, so when Jane arrived home yesterday, there were several things that had happened before she came home. So in the first part of this sentence here, we said when Jane arrived. That's in the past simple tense, but all the things we're going to say after that, all the things that happened before Jane arrived, we're going to describe using the past perfect tense. Let's look. When Jane arrived home yesterday, the maid had cleaned the house. Her husband had cooked dinner. Jane's a very lucky woman. The children had finished their homework. The maid had done the laundry. Her husband had taken the children to a restaurant. The baby had gone to sleep. Okay? I purposely gave you some examples here, which are regular verbs like cleaned and cooked and finished, and some which are irregular verbs such as done, taken, gone, right? Do, take, and go. When we use it in the third form, in the past participle form, then we have to use them like that. Okay? So all of these things we know happened before Jane arrived home. And we know that because we say had cleaned, had cooked, had finished, had done, had taken, and had gone. Okay? So that past perfect tense shows us what things happened first and what happened after, even though all of it happened in the past. Okay? Let's look at another example. By the time John received the award, he had directed several movies. He had worked with many famous actors, and he had made a lot of money. Okay? So all these things, these three things we talked about, happened before John received the award. All right? And that's why here we use past perfect tense. And here we simply use the past tense. All right? So we see that in the same sentence, we're using the simple past tense and we're also using the past perfect tense. Okay? Next example. When I got married, there were many things that happened before that, right? So, when I got married, past simple tense. Now, all the things that happened before, I'm going to talk about in the past perfect tense. When I got married, I had graduated from university. I had started my own business. I hadn't bought a house. And I hadn't made a lot of money yet. Okay? So you could see in that here, you could say it in the positive or in the negative. All right? Both of them are possible. I hope this lesson has helped you to understand the past perfect tense a little more clearly. You could start using it. Just try to think of something that you did yesterday, but something that happened before that. All right? If you'd like to do a quiz on this, please go to our website, www.ingvid.com. Thanks very much. Good luck with your English.